During the Democratic primary, myself, as well as other progressives, such as Bernie Sanders supporters, people like Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kulinski, had all warned Hillary Clinton supporters that she's not the stronger general election candidate because she can't win over millennials. And the fact that she's the Democratic nominee doesn't really change that because there are other options. There's third-party candidates like Jill Stein, who is championing the policies that we really care about, like a Green New Deal, taking on climate change, actually locking up these crooks on Wall Street. This is what we care about. Jill Stein is inspiring. Hillary Clinton is not inspiring. So we told you that if she was the nominee, you're taking a huge risk because we're not going to support her. We're not going to legitimize a conservative Democrat candidate. If she wants to run and be conservative, so be it. But do it in the other party, not the Democratic Party. That's supposed to be the liberal party. But I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Because when it comes to a new poll conducted by Quinnipiac, Hillary Clinton loses 43% of millennial support to third-party candidates. So Red Alert explains, Clinton's support among young voters is a strong 55% in a head-to-head matchup against Donald Trump, just 5 points lower than Obama's number in 2012. But when millennials were given the choice to vote for Libertarian Gary Johnson or the Green Party's Jill Stein, a stunning 43% of young Clinton supporters abandoned her in favor of a third-party candidate. In a four-way race, Clinton earns just 31% of the millennial vote, less than half of what Obama received in 2008. Johnson emerges in second place among young voters, gaining 29%, and Trump follows him within the margin of error with 26%. Jill Stein is in a distant but healthy fourth place with 15% of the youth vote. Without a large base of millennials to support her, Clinton's national lead drops from 4% to just 2%. Well within the margin of error. This honestly isn't surprising to me because millennials, by and large, want the change candidate. If you're going to go up there and advocate for incremental change, well, why would we be excited about that? Because this is our lives. We see all these issues that are going to impact our future, like climate change. I mean, when we're older, we're going to have to deal with health. Who knows what consequences will come to fruition with climate change? We don't know if there's going to be mass migration, new diseases, rising sea levels. These are all things that are terrifying. And if you're not actually willing to advocate for these issues, then I don't think millennials are going to get on board. Now, there's several other reasons as to why Hillary Clinton is really struggling when it comes to getting support and why she would be losing to someone like Gary Johnson. It's very simple. Younger people, by and large, are very liberal. And particularly one issue that they really care about is the Iraq War, because we all grew up seeing the sham and we weren't old enough to vote. Our voices weren't heard. So before we were even old enough to have a say, we saw how many trillions of dollars this war cost. We saw the devastation, the lives that were lost, how it destabilized the Middle East, and we couldn't say shit about it. But now anyone who's war hawkish, they're a no-go. So even if it's the case that Gary Johnson might have egregious domestic policies, we at least know that if he gets into office, he's not going to start any more wars. Another issue, which I think has become really important, is marijuana legalization. Hillary Clinton, her stance on this issue is just very far behind. She's not on board with legalization. Gary Johnson is. Young people really care about this issue, myself included, because not only is it a racial issue, because even if it's the case that white people smoke pot at the same amount, if not higher, than African Americans, they're 4 times as likely to be locked up. So you have that dynamic, and also the fact that this is just modern day prohibition, okay? It's time to legalize pot, but yet we have Big Pharma and the alcohol industry fighting against it. And of course, Hillary Clinton doesn't want to do anything about it because she's always so slow to catch up on these types of issues that we care about. So that's one thing that could help her gain support among young people. But she's not choosing to do anything about it. And also, she's just not trustworthy. So you have people like Samantha Bee criticizing progressives and Bernie or Busters because, oh, well, Hillary Clinton, she adopted all of Bernie Sanders' plans. I mean, Bernie Sanders won the platform. Isn't that more important? Don't you care about the policies? Well, yeah, I care about the policies more than the candidate, but I don't trust Hillary Clinton. We all know that her arm was twisted to get those policies. Bernie Sanders was not going to concede and drop out or endorse her if she didn't sign on to at least a couple of progressive policies. Because of that, we know that she doesn't actually care about these policies. Anything that she did choose to stand up for that progressives care about, like the TPP, we know that she's doing that because it's a politically expedient position to take. So she has some great policies when it comes to free college tuition. I love this policy proposed by Hillary Clinton, but here's the problem. I don't believe she's going to fight for it. I love the fact that she just proposed a really robust plan to expand mental health care in the United States. I don't believe Hillary Clinton's even going to get in and fight for it. So if you have someone who's willing to lay down on their progressive policies, then you're not going to get progressive change. So yes, I do care about the policies, but I don't trust Hillary Clinton. She's disingenuous. She's one of the most corrupt, focus group, poll-driven candidates ever, and nothing she says resonates because I can't believe a single word that comes out of her mouth. Now, with that being said, let's be fair here. The same is true for Donald Trump. I don't believe a single word that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. And even if it's the case that he's more personable, he may not be intelligent, but at least he's personable. He speaks in a way that's not, rehearsed or robotic. Now, I don't believe anything he says either. So it's not just that, I dislike Hillary Clinton. I dislike both of these candidates, both mainstream options we have, one of which will most likely become the president of the USA. I don't like either of them, and most millennials agree with me here. So, look, this isn't shocking. That's the takeaway. The fact that Hillary Clinton is struggling to get millennial support is not surprising. Bernie Sanders got like 80% or higher in some states of the millennial support, and what's sad is that even Donald Trump got more millennial support among conservative voters, that is, throughout the Republican primary. So it's not shocking. Look, I'm going to speak for young people. We want reassurance from a candidate. We want to vote for someone that we believe is actually going to care about our futures and not just seek public office to enrich themselves and sell more book deals or increase their power or whatever. I want someone who is going to fight for progressive policies, and I just don't believe that Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump are going to do that. So that's why I'm voting for Jill Stein. That's why many millennials are voting for Gary Johnson, and many are voting for Jill Stein. So, that's the bottom line. Hillary Clinton does nothing to inspire millennials. And if you don't inspire young people, it's going to be very difficult for you to get into the White House.